Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Chef Swain. Today is Obi's birthday! He's 3 years old and I decided this year I was gonna make him a cake. His favorite food is blueberries, so we'll be working that into this Frankenstein of a cake. Link to the recipe by Recipe 10 Eats will be in the description below. Now let's get on to it. First we gotta bake our cake. I have all the ingredients meased out and ready to go. 2.5 cups of shredded carrot, 100 grams of applesauce, 120 grams of peanut butter, 300 grams of whole wheat or wholemeal flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 3 eggs, 165 milliliters of water, and 65 milliliters of oil. I've got 2 8-inch baking pans here that I'm gonna line with parchment and grease up. As you can see, I am folding the parchment in 4s. That's gonna make it really easy to get this circular shape we're looking for with the pan. You could easily use a ruler, measure out 4 inches, and just cut from there. But I like to just like press it in and cut freestyle. Having the exact right circular shape for lining the bottom is not too important, especially with a cake for a dog, but I'm striving for perfection here. Make sure both are properly lined and sprayed down with some sort of canola oil or... Oh, hi Obi. It's your birthday. We're making cake for you. Like I said, spray this down with some sort of non-stick oil. I'm using this Veggie Lean cooking spray. It's kind of like a 3-in-1. Just make sure whatever you're using is safe for dogs, obviously. This recipe is super simple. It's basically gather all of your wet ingredients in one bowl and your dry ingredients in another bowl and whisk. So as you can see, here I am whisking together my eggs, my water, my oil, my peanut butter, and then once that's kind of all whisked together, I add my carrots. Once our carrots are added in and folded into this wet mixture, we can set it aside and do the same with the dry. Not too many ingredients for this, just the whole wheat flour and the baking soda, but you do want to whisk them together so that it's evenly distributed. The dry goes right into the wet, and you just fold that together and move as fast as I am moving here. Definitely not 4 times speed. Once that is properly folded and there's no dry spots, you can add it to your greased up pans. Just evenly spread it out. It takes some pressing down. It's not gonna spread on its own like some other cake batters. So make sure you get it nice and even so that it cooks even in the oven. And like I said, we're gonna take this to the oven. Yeah, throw it in the oven while dancing. The dancing is important for a dog birthday cake. 350 degrees for 25 minutes, or until a toothpick or cake tester like I have here comes out clean, like so. I let them cool for a little bit in the pans before demolding and cooling completely on these wire racks. Once your cakes have completely cooled, you can go ahead and shave off the top layer. I like to save the scraps for snacks for the dog later. I don't know, I normally make this with regular cake and I eat all the scraps myself. Once you give your cakes a haircut, you can make your frosting. Like I said before, Obi loves blueberries. He gets a blueberry flavored greenie every single day, so I'm taking some freeze-dried blueberries. Freeze-dried fruit doesn't have as much acidity as fresh fruit, nor does it have the water content of fresh fruit. So it's really good for baking. It doesn't alter, how it cooks or the weight of the recipe. It's perfect. I added some Greek yogurt, about 1.5 cups to those freeze-dried blueberries, and that's gonna give some creaminess to our frosting and kind of let it hold some shape. our frosting, by the way, made of potatoes. So I have 4 potatoes here. I'm gonna cut them up and boil them. You just want to boil them or steam them. You could throw them in the microwave. I prefer to do this way. So cut them into chunks, throw them in some water, and just cover them, like here, on the stove, ready to go. Once they are boiled properly and nice and fork tender, throw them in a colander, strain them, and you don't want them hot for this recipe. You kind of still want them warm. If you let them cool completely, it's going to be really hard to work with the frosting. So throw them in your mixing bowl, add your blueberry yogurt mixture, and with a whisk in your KitchenAid or with like a hand blender, you're going to whisk these for about 1.5 minutes on medium-high. If you properly whisk these together, you should end up with an end product that looks right about like this. Nice and smooth. There will be little bit chunks of potato in there still, but your dog's not going to judge your perfection. Frosting a cake is pretty straightforward. I think the only tip here is to put a little bit of frosting on the very bottom before you put the first layer on. That helps the cake from sliding around on your cake tray here. A nice even layer for the middle. Add your second layer of cake on top of that. And then I'm gonna put almost all of the frosting on here. I'm reserving a little bit so we can make the cake fancy. But with most of the frosting on the top, I try to achieve an even layer and then start bringing the frosting down the sides. With a normal cake, I would do this as thin as possible on this layer and try to achieve what is called a crumb coat. So when you go all the way around, crumbs tend to stick to the frosting, and you want to make sure that the outside of the cake looks nice and doesn't have little crumbs in it. But with this potato, Greek yogurt, blueberry mixture, it's a little bit easier to get around the whole cake. I reserved some of that dry blueberry, and I'm going around the sides and just giving it like a crumb coat. This is obviously optional, but Obi loves blueberries, like I said, and I am going in on blueberry flavor here. I filled a piping bag with a nice piping tip and just kind of going around the whole thing. It's not the most beautiful cake, but like I said, it'll do the job. Obi's not a huge critic. Obi. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Obi. Happy birthday to you. Obi, you ready? You ready? Go ahead. Here you go, bud. I'll hold it for you. It's gonna be nasty if you just lick it the whole time.
There it goes.
Up! Really stand it back up for you.
See if you hold it, if he'll take a bite. Yeah, there he goes.
This is gross. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me to celebrate today. Make sure to wish Obi a happy birthday in the comments. I'll be back next week with an exciting new series, so make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a magnificent Obi day, and may your quest for food knowledge be bountiful.